So let's have a look here at a simultaneous equation and how we can solve it with matrix methods. And we've got a 2 by 2 to start with. Now, one of the obvious things is that there are other ways to solve these equations. So 2 by 2, I could solve this without using a calculator at all, or I could go to the simultaneous equation solver on my calculator. And in fact, what I suggest you do is just pause the video and then just write out the answer. Now, I have x equals 5 and y equals -2. Now, I'm going to show you a method for using matrices, just so that you're aware of it. And you may be asked to take a matrix and use this method, even if you find there's an easier way of solving it. So the first thing is I'm going to set this up into a matrix. So I'm going to say that I've got 3, 4 from here and here, times those by those. So I have 3x plus 4y, and here's the answer. So that's the first line. 2x take away 7y, and the answer is 24. Now from here, we're going to use some of the matrix algebra that we have used before. So what we're going to do is we're going to call that first matrix A, and we're going to find the inverse of A. Now you can check that on the calculator. You can even do it without a calculator. Then we're going to bring in this matrix algebra. We're going to times both sides by a to the -1. So a to the -1 times a and xy. And the order is important. I cannot put the a -1 at the back, or else this will not work. So I'm going to times this thing here by this thing. Once I've done that, a to the -1 and a, that becomes the identity matrix. So I have an x and no y's, and I have no x's and a y on this side. On the other side, when I multiply this by this row, the answer comes out as 5. Now I suggest you actually check that all out on the calculator. When I multiply this by this, the answer is -2. Now that, I'm sure you're thinking this is a long way to do something which I can just do with pen and paper, but it comes in handy, or it comes more useful the bigger or the more unknowns we don't know. So if we have a 3 by 3, we could go to our equation solver and we could do this on the equation solver. But if we want to do it with matrices, we set it up using the matrix methods. So I've got 4 -1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 5, 8 -2, -3, and then x, y, z. So this one times by this gives the answer 24, the first equation. Now all I'm going to do now is start with that and then multiply both sides by a to the -1. And let me stick a little a to the -1 in here. So that this side becomes a to the -1 times a, so that it comes out as the identity, and it just leaves me with x, y, z. And this side is now the inverse of this matrix being multiplied by this, and you can check that out. And I suggest you just type it in as a matrix, and then the inverse, and then this other matrix, and then you get these answers. It's another method of solving simultaneous equations which you should be aware of and could expect to be examined on.